Hello and welcome to the not so weekly writing vlog. So first things first, I think I made a mistake. The idea for the weekly writing chat seemed so solid, but this is the second time I'm filming this video, so. In theory, I loved the idea of doing a video where part 1 was a personal writing update and part 2 was like a helpful writing craft chat. But in practice, I felt like both parts were rushed and like I didn't really do either part justice, and when put together, that video was still too long. So I scrapped that video, and this is the do-over. My plan now is to just do separate videos. So one week I'll do a personal writing update, and the next week I'll do an in-depth writing craft chat. We're gonna try it that way, okay? See if that works better. Which means next week you'll be getting how I plan scenes, drafting versus revising. Here's a little sneak peek of my scene planner, and if you're sitting there thinking, wow, Kat, that seems really complex to plan one scene, you're right, but we'll talk about that next week. This was the topic that was chosen by my lovely patrons, and I'm still gonna be letting them vote to choose the topics for these writing craft videos. It's just gonna be every other week instead of weekly. All right, let's chat now about how my writing has been going these last 2 weeks. It's been going really well. Like, that's kind of why it's taken me so long to refilm this video. Like, I'm in the zone. I got a really good flow going. I mean, there have been, like, ups and downs, you know. I've definitely had some frustrating moments where like it wasn't working, and like I couldn't figure out how to make it work, but I have been really good about pushing myself through that and like continuing to work even when it's frustrating. And so far, the result has always been eventual success. Like, the more I work, the more things start clicking and coming together. Who would have guessed? I am so eager for someone else to read this and like tell me their thoughts. I think writing fanfic has just completely spoiled me, you know, with instant kudos and instant comments and instant validation, but I can be patient, probably. As for word count, this is the source of most of my stress. I am currently at about 68,500 words. Remember when I thought this was going to be a 75k story? Like, I'm only up to chapter 5. So yeah, I've definitely been adding words over the last 2 weeks. Not quite at my 0 draft pace, but still too many words. The word count is too damn high. Like, I've realized there's absolutely no way the story is clocking in under 100k. So that's that. Right now, I have the first 4 chapters done, and chapter 5 is almost there. But the first 4 together add up to about 22,000 words. If I maintain that pace, we're looking at like 125,000 words total, which is the equivalent to about 500 pages. And if I don't maintain that, then the pacing is going to be off balance because the opening is going to be overly verbose. I'm trying not to worry about that too much though at this stage. Like, I've been working on this book for 5.5 weeks. It's a little bit early to be panicking this much over total word count. But I just keep looking at these chapters that are like over 6,000 words, and I'm like, why? This is what my chart for part 1 currently looks like, if you're curious. I have updated my word count goals. I've changed them from 3k to 4k, and I'm still going over goal for every chapter. Like 7k, 5k, 6k, another 5k. Chapter 5 is probably gonna go up to 6k. Oh, and here's my writing log if you're interested in that. It's not as pretty as the chart, like there's no green, but I like numbers and stats, so I've been keeping track. You can see that some days I added quite a bit, while others not so much, especially in that first week. That is where my word count panic like hit the hardest. Like, there were a couple days at the end of October where chapter 1 was over 7,000 words, and I was like, no, I can't. So I spent a few days just going through it over and over again and trying to cut. And I got it under 7k, but the word count is still too damn high. But yeah, aside from this being like a 500-page contemporary novel, I am just having the best time. My original goal was to have at least part 1 done by December 18th, my critique partner swap deadline, and I'm very confident that I'm gonna hit that goal. I think I'll probably finish part 1 by the end of November, and then in December I can get into part 2. I would love to be halfway done, like get to that midpoint by December 18th, so I can give Christine like the full first half of the book, which is probably gonna be like 60,000 words, which is fine. Everything's fine. Oh, you know what's not fine though? I don't yet have a title for the story, which is really bothering me. Like, I have a couple options, but nothing that I'm set on. My first thought was to call it Meant to Be. Cause you know, it's a soulmate story. They're meant to be. Or are they? But I searched that title and there are like 19 million other books with that title, so that's out, I guess. I think I'm gonna call it that in these vlogs, like just so I have something to call it and you know which of my many projects I'm referencing, but it's not the actual title, so don't get attached. So yeah, okay, Project MTV, or M2B. Nah, the 2 makes it sound like a sequel. We're going with MTB. Speaking of sequels, I have a shiny new idea. Thankfully, this idea is not so shiny that it is pulling my attention away from this book, Project MTB. I have this problem where even when I'm trying to focus on like the art, the craft, the story side of things, the business part of my brain doesn't want to turn off. So here I am, like, revising chapter 2, and my brain is like, so if this is your debut novel, what's your second one gonna be about? And I'm just like, could you not? What is my second book gonna be about though? Cause like, if your debut novel is gonna be an adult contemporary romance, then your second novel should be along those same genre lines for like publishing, marketing, branding purposes. Well, I figured it out. I have this like master idea document where I keep all of my little story sparks and like basic brief ideas. And I had this idea in there that was another soulmate story, but it was set in a world with like a completely different soulmate system. But I was looking at this idea and I was like, does it have to be a different soulmate world though? And it turns out, no, it doesn't. I actually already have this great framework in Project MTB to support this other idea in the same world. So yeah, I now have an idea for a companion novel. Not a sequel, because Project MTB is firmly a standalone, and so is this other idea. You know, the second book is going to follow 2 new characters, just set in the same world, and there might be like some brief crossover mentions or maybe even a cameo. I don't know yet. I only have like the bare bones of this companion idea, but I really like what I have so far. There are a couple of specific tropes that I am planning to use that I'm just so excited about. I think I can share one of them with you. It's one I've used before. It's one that I really, really like. It's the secret online identity trope. So in this companion book, the 2 main characters are not in a love triangle, but they both think that they are. Basically, they connect through this anonymous messaging service, and they're forming like this really intense emotional connection there. And then in real life, I think they're gonna be rivals. Again, I have like no specific details figured out. So like they might be academic rivals, or maybe like sports rivals, or I don't know, they're competing in a bake-off or something. Some kind of competitive element. Something where they can be a little like antagonistic. But despite the rivalry, they have like this intense physical chemistry. And so both of them are like, oh no, I'm torn between these 2 different people. But they're not! It's the same person. There's only 2 people total. They just have secret online identities. So yeah, I am just very excited to play around with this idea more. Once I've finished Project MTB, of course. I'm like intentionally trying to not figure out any details about this companion book because I don't want to be distracted. I gotta finish this first one first. Anyways, I think that is gonna do it for this writing update today. Everything is going really well, and I'm really hoping I can continue to ride this high all the way to the end. But yeah, that's gonna do it. So thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will have another video up soon. So I will see you then. Bye!